I came early. Maybe too early. My hands were cold even though it was warm inside. The cafe lights were soft, blurred like my thoughts. I touched my neck, the scent suppressor patch still there. I checked twice. I didn't want to feel anything today. No scent. No memory. No trace of him. But he was already there, sitting at the blind date table meant for someone else. Back straight, one hand wrapped around a coffee cup he hadn't touched. Same black coat, same silver ring on his finger. Same scent, faint but sharp. Storm and pine, my ruin. I stopped breathing. No one else noticed, but my legs froze. My scent spiked despite the suppressor. I felt the heat coil low in my stomach, like a betrayal. I looked away. Too late. His eyes already on me. Choose me again, he said. His voice wasn't loud, but I heard it in my bones. Soft. Wrecked. Like he never stopped waiting. Like I was the one who forgot. I wanted to turn. Run. But my feet moved instead toward him. Toward that table I once swore never to sit at again. 3 years ago, I was different. He was dangerous. Back then, I was a nothing omega. I worked 2 jobs and still counted coins. I had a gland so sensitive I wore scarves in summer. I avoided alphas like plague. Their eyes. Their scents. Their promises. He came into my life like hunger. Didn't talk much at first. Just watched. Every evening at closing, he sat by the window. Same table. Same black coat. Eyes like winter. I thought he was lonely. I didn't know I was being hunted. One night, I cleaned his table last. I was tired. My suppressors were wearing off. My scent slipped. Just a little. Just enough. He inhaled like it hurt him. You smell like regret, he whispered. I didn't answer. I should have walked away. But I didn't. Something in his voice made my spine ache, like he saw through my skin. The next night, he brought coffee. For your hands, he said, placing the cup gently. Not touching me. They shake. I took it, not because I wanted it, but because no one ever noticed my hands. Days blurred. He stayed. I started looking forward to him. Just watching him watch me felt safe. Stupid. I know. Then came the storm. A real one. Thunder so loud it shook the windows. I forgot my umbrella. He offered his coat. I refused. He followed anyway. Outside my door, I turned. Why you always there? I asked. My voice small, scared. His eyes dropped to my neck. Your scent, he said. It doesn't let me sleep. I laughed. Nervous. You talk like you gonna bite me. I will, he said. My heat hit early that year. I hid. Alone. Shivering in the corner of my room, biting a pillow to silence the sound. But he found me. Don't ask how. I don't know. Maybe I wanted him to. He didn't say anything. Just looked at me. Wild scent flooding the room. My body betrayed me. I moved closer. I exposed my neck. I can't, I whispered. I already have, he said. Then pain. Then blood. Then nothing. When I woke, he was slumped by the wall. My gland throbbed. His mouth was stained red. He looked broken. Like he didn't mean to do it. You bit too deep, I said weak. You didn't stop me, he replied. Something shattered inside me. I ran. I left him there. I changed my job, my scent, my city. I never looked back. He didn't come after me. So I thought he forgot. But here he was, 3 years later, sitting at my blind date table like fate never stopped watching me. My heart beat wrong. I sat down slowly, across from him. The air was heavy, his scent stronger now, darker, like wet pine under moonlight. My body remembered before my mind did. He didn't speak. I didn't breathe. Finally I said, "This isn't your table." He smiled, slow and ruined. It was always mine. My fingers clenched in my lap. You didn't look for me. I did. Then why? I waited. I hated him. I hated myself more for shaking. You don't get to do this, I said. I never stopped choosing you, he whispered. Even when you didn't. My throat closed. My gland burned under the patch. I pressed it harder, trying to calm the spike in my pheromones. He noticed. Of course he did. Still so soft, he murmured. Still sweet, don't, I warned. I missed your scent, he said. I stood. Fast. The chair scraped. The cafe looked normal. People laughed. Cups clinked. But my world tilted. "Don't follow me," I said. I walked out, into air that smelled like rain. Behind me I heard him whisper. Not loud but enough. "I already am. 3 years ago. I was invisible. Just a nameless omega behind a bookstore counter, working late shifts no one wanted. My heat was irregular. My scent forgettable. People didn't look twice. And I liked it that way. I wore oversized sweaters, kept my head down, double-layered scent blockers. It was safer not to be noticed. But he noticed. The first night he walked in, I thought he was just another lost alpha, too bored or too broken to go home. Tall, quiet, dripping rain onto the carpet. He didn't speak, didn't browse, just stood near the poetry shelf. But he didn't pick anything up. I remember pretending to organize the counter just to sneak glances. He looked sharp, not handsome, dangerous. His eyes were too cold for beauty, like winter sky after a storm. He left without a word. Next night he came again. And again. Always the same time. Always alone. Always standing close enough to catch my scent if the blockers slipped. I started spraying extra. But it didn't matter. I could feel it, the way his gaze clung to me. Like he wasn't seeing me. He was smelling me. The third night I broke. "Can I help you?" I asked, trying to sound annoyed. He looked at me for the first time. Really looked. "No," he said. "I like the silence here." But after that he moved closer. A few steps every night. Slowly. Like a predator pacing its cage. One night, I forgot my blocker patch. It fell off halfway through my shift. I panicked. My hands shook as I looked for a spare in my bag. I could feel my scent leaking. Warm, soft, stupidly sweet. I cursed under my breath. He was already standing by the counter. "You smell different tonight," he said. I froze. "Sorry," I muttered. "Forgot something." He didn't blink. "Don't apologize. It's nice." My throat tightened. "You shouldn't say things like that." "Why?" he asked. "It's true. He left something behind that night. A coffee cup. Still warm. Black. No sugar. Just like his scent, bitter and clean." I stared at it too long. The next day he brought 2 cups. Handed me one. No words. I didn't drink it, but I held it until it got cold. He started speaking more after that. Quiet things. Observations. "You have a habit of biting your lip when you read. You always stack the red-covered books in front. Your scent changes when you're sleepy." I stopped wearing the blockers sometimes. Just a little. Just enough. One night, it rained hard. Power went out. I had to close the shop early. He was still outside. No umbrella. Standing under the flickering street lamp like he belonged to the storm. I tried to walk past him. Hoodie pulled tight. Shoes splashing in puddles. "You'll catch cold," he said, offering his coat. "I'm fine." He stepped closer. "You're trembling." I wasn't sure if it was the rain or him, but I let him drape the coat over my shoulders. It smelled like cedar and smoke. My heat curled faintly in my chest. He walked beside me, quiet. When we reached my door, I turned. "Why do you come every night?" His eyes darkened. "I told you." "No, you didn't." He leaned forward. Not close enough to touch, but enough that I could feel the weight of his breath. "Because your scent won't leave me alone." I laughed. Nervous. "That's creepy." He smiled. "You should have run." My breath caught. "Should I?" He tilted his head. "It's too late now." I didn't sleep that night. My body was hot even though the heater was off. I could still feel the coat on my skin. Still smell him. I started waiting for him. Each night felt slower without his presence. When he skipped a day, I thought I was going mad. He came the next night. Said he'd been sick. His voice was hoarse, deeper. "You missed me," he said, watching me restock shelves. I looked away. "You think too much." "I feel too much." I shouldn't have smiled. But I did. The obsession didn't start all at once. It was small things. Him memorizing what I liked. Bringing me books I never mentioned aloud. Sitting closer, never touching, but always near enough that my scent mixed with his. I started dreaming about him. Waking up in tangled sheets, my heat creeping up at the wrong times. My body wanted something my brain didn't understand. One night I walked him home instead. He lived near the river. An old apartment with cracked walls and a flickering hallway light. He held the door open but didn't invite me in. I waited. He leaned against the doorway. "You don't know what you're doing," he said. "Then teach me." He stepped forward. His fingers didn't touch me, but his scent wrapped around me like a promise. I shivered. My gland throbbed under the skin. "If I start," he said, voice low, "I won't stop." "Then don't start," I whispered. He didn't, but his eyes said he already had. The cafe door closed behind me, but I couldn't breathe. My chest was tight, my throat dry. His scent still clung to me, faint, distant, but it haunted. Storm-soaked pine. Always that. Always. I tried to walk fast, pretending I didn't hear his steps behind me. But they matched mine. Every turn I took, he followed. I cut into the alley beside the cafe. Narrow, dim, the air heavy with last night's rain. My hands trembled as I reached for my neck, pressing hard on the suppressor patch. I didn't want this. Not now. Not like this. But he came anyway. Quiet. Close. Like he always did. I turned around, voice shaking. "Don't follow me." He stopped. Shadows curled around him. "Why did you leave?" My heart dropped. That voice low, rough, like it remembered too much. I hated how much it still pulled at me. "You didn't chase me," I said, biting the inside of my cheek. "You watched me bleed and let me go." His eyes flared. "You ran. Because you bit me. I warned you." My sense spiked. It was small, just a flicker, but I saw the change in his eyes, the dilation, the twitch of his fingers. His breath hitched. I stepped back. "Don't." But his hand shot out, grabbed my wrist. His palm was warm. Too warm. Like fire licking through my skin. I gasped as my body betrayed me again. Heat pooled low in my stomach. My legs turned soft. Suppressor failed. No. No, no, no. My scent flooded the alley. Sweet. Sharp. Unfiltered. I saw it hit him. Saw his jaw clench. His eyes drop to my neck. His control unraveling in real time. "You're in preheat," he growled. "I can handle it," I whispered. He pulled me closer, not hard, just enough. "You lied. I'm not yours anymore." But he leaned in, and I felt it. His nose brushing just beneath my ear. His breath shaky, mouth half open, lips grazing that cursed spot just above my gland. I froze. "I've dreamed of this," he murmured. 3 years. Every night. "Don't." He licked my scent gland. My knees buckled. The heat surged like a wave. Violent, pulsing, too much too fast. My back hit the cold alley wall. He pinned me gently, no pressure, just presence. But I couldn't move. My body was melting, traitorous. "I hate you," I breathed. "You still smell like mine," he said. His teeth sank in. I cried out, not from pain but from memory. That same mark, that same burn. My scent spiked wildly, spiraling. The bite wasn't deep, not like before, but it was enough. Enough to pull everything back. Pleasure bloomed, hurt bloomed, tears welled up instantly. I shoved him. Hard. He stumbled back, eyes wide, lips stained with me. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I choked. My hand pressed over the bite, blood warm against my fingers. "You don't get to bite me after 3 years." He looked like I hit him. He didn't move, just stood there, trembling, scent wild, out of sync. Like he didn't expect to break, but did. I wiped my tears with the back of my hand, shaking. "This wasn't yours to take." "I never stopped wanting it," he said, voice hoarse. "Then why didn't you come?" I yelled. "Why didn't you stop me when I left?" He didn't answer. The silence felt heavier than the bites. I turned, walking away before my legs failed again. My scent trailed behind me. Broken, open, vulnerable. He didn't follow this time, and that hurt more. My body was burning. I curled up on the bathroom floor, forehead pressed to the cold tiles, hands trembling. The suppressants weren't working. I could feel it low in my belly, rising like a slow fire, turning my breath shallow and my skin too tight. My scent, it was leaking. Too sweet, too much. I shoved another patch onto my neck, but it peeled off, damp with sweat. I was drenched. My shirt clung to me like second skin. My pulse pounded behind my ears. Heat coiled in every bone. I could feel it crawling under my skin, waiting to explode. Outside, the rain fell hard against the windows. But louder than that, footsteps, pacing. He was there. I knew before I even heard the knock. Open the door. His voice was low, controlled, but shaking. I crawled to the door and locked it harder. No, I whispered, even though I knew he could hear me. Another knock, then silence. Then, "You're in heat," he said. "You need help." I pressed my back against the door, my legs weak, my breath short. I could smell him now, even through the barrier, sharp pine, wood smoke, ruts. His scent was crashing into mine like waves. "You're in rut," I whispered. A pause. Yes. My heart twisted. This was wrong. Dangerous. Stupid. But my body throbbed, every nerve begging for contact. I dug my nails into my arm. I tried to hold on, but then I heard it, his breath catch. He was losing control. "I can smell you," he said. "You're calling me." "I'm not," I cried. "You are." I shook my head. "Go away." "I can't." His voice cracked. "Not when you smell like this. Not when you're hurting." Silence again. I held my breath. Then he said, "Let me in." I should have said no. I should have waited it out. I should have done anything else, but I opened the door and collapsed into him. His arms caught me instantly, pulling me against him. My legs gave up. My scent burst, raw and overwhelming. He groaned, low and guttural, as if it physically hit him. "You're burning," he whispered into my neck. "So are you," I gasped. His forehead pressed to mine. Our breaths tangled. My vision blurred. I clutched his shirt, fingers digging in, like I'd drown without him. Then everything broke. He carried me to the bed, not fast, but urgent. Like his body couldn't wait, but his mind still tried to be gentle. I could feel him shaking. He kissed my throat first. My gland throbbed under his mouth. "You sure?" he asked, voice hoarse, eyes wild. I nodded. "I need you to say it." "Yes." Then he bit. Not shallow this time. Deep. The kind of bite that claims. My body arched, a cry tearing from my throat. Not from pain, from memory. From how right it felt. From how wrong it should have been. His scent flooded me. I couldn't breathe anything else. Couldn't feel anything else. His mouth stayed on my gland, marking again and again, like he wanted to erase every moment I'd spent without him. I held him like I'd fall apart if I didn't. "Mine," he growled. I nodded. "Yours." We moved like we were drowning, clinging, desperate. His rut consumed him, and I let it. My heat answered back, body arching, trembling, aching. There was no space left between us. Only scent, only skin, only bond. I cried his name more than once, not out of pain, out of everything I kept buried for 3 years. After he held me, my body limp, covered in sweat and scent. His hands trembled as they touched the mark he left. His breath still uneven. "Now you can't run," he whispered. I didn't answer, because I didn't know if that was a promise or a warning. I turned my face away, but his scent stayed on me, inside me, a part of me now, and I was scared. Scared of what I'd become. It started with the coffee. Bitterness on my tongue I didn't remember ordering. The bookstore lights blurred, twisted. I blinked. My fingers dropped the mug. It shattered, but no one moved. My breath caught. Something was wrong. The world tilted, then silence, then black. I woke up in rot and rust, hands bound, room damp. Light cracked through wooden beams above. My head throbbed. Something cold pressed against my neck. A suppressant injection. The patch on my skin buzzed. Too strong, too artificial. My scent was gone. I couldn't even smell myself. Panic bloomed. I couldn't call him. Not even with my pheromones. They took that from me. Footsteps. He walked in, the beta from before. I remembered his eyes, how they lingered too long at the bookstore counter. Always asking questions. Always too nice. I thought it was harmless. It wasn't. "You looked at me once," he said, crouching beside me. His breath stank of sour obsession. Then stopped. "Why'd you stop?" I didn't speak. "You think you're too good for me now? Because you got claimed?" I looked away. He grabbed my jaw. "Answer me." I flinched. Scentless, powerless. I should have been your alpha, he hissed. Not him. He walked out again. The door slammed. The air turned still. Too still. Like a grave. I tried to move, my wrists burned. The suppressants made my limbs heavy. I couldn't scent anything. I felt like I was disappearing. Like I didn't exist without him. Maybe I didn't. But then, a shift. A hum under the air. It was subtle at first, like the room exhaled. Then it hit. Hard and sharp. His scent. Pine. Storm. Fury. Crashing through the walls like a wave too big to hold back. My body jolted. My lungs filled. My skin prickled with heat. The suppressant couldn't block him. Not this time. My bond responded like a scream underwater. Muted. Broken. But there. He was close. The beta ran back in. Wild-eyed. What is that? He clutched his head. His knees buckled. I smiled. Even before I saw him, I knew he was here. The door shattered. He walked through the dust in splinters. Scent ripping through the space like lightning. His eyes were red. With rage. Rut. Madness. Not at me. At the one who touched me. The beta tried to run. He didn't get far. A growl split the air. Not human. Not sane. Don't touch what's mine, he said. Voice low. Shaking primal. The beta collapsed. And then he was at my side. His hands were rough, trembling. He cut the ropes fast. Eyes scanning my skin. His scent wrapped around me so thick I choked. My body moved without thought into his arms. Into his neck, into that place that smelled like safety. I gripped his shirt, fists tight. Mine, he whispered again, voice cracking. I nodded. He held me like I'd vanish. His pheromones crashed into me, purging the suppressant from my blood. My scent returned slowly, weak, scattered, but mine, and it curled into his like it always did. We breathed each other in, like drowning men surfacing. I buried my face in his neck. You came? I whispered. Always. My body trembled, but it wasn't from fear anymore. It was from knowing for the first time I was claimed. Completely. Violently. Unapologetically. And I wanted it. I wanted to be his. The room was quiet. Too quiet. My fingers trembled slightly as I touched the bite mark on my neck. Still swollen. Still aching. His scent lingered on my skin. Thick, heavy, impossible to scrub off. It clung to the sheets. To the air. To me. I sat at the edge of his bed. Knees pulled up. Forehead pressed to them. The rain tapped lightly against the window. Soft, patient. Like it had time. He walked out of the shower minutes ago. Towel draped over his shoulder. Hair wet. Bare chest rising and falling like he was trying to breathe normally. He wasn't succeeding. Neither was I. I looked at him, not because I wanted answers, but because I needed them. You knew I'd be there at the cafe, I said quietly. He froze, didn't speak. My voice cracked, but I forced it out. Why? He reached into the drawer beside the bed, pulled out something small, and placed it gently in my palm. It was black, metallic, cold. I stared at it for a long second before I realized what it was. A tracking chip. My heart stopped. I whispered, "What is this?" His voice was low. "I put it in your coat, 3 years ago. I couldn't breathe. You followed me." He nodded. "Always." My fingers tightened around the chip. Knuckles white. "You lied. You said you didn't know where I went. I didn't want to scare you." I laughed. Bitter. Shaky. My sense spiked, confused, wounded, overwhelmed. "I thought I was free." "You were never free from me," he said. His tone was soft, like he was confessing love. But it didn't feel gentle. It felt possessive. Like chains dressed as warmth. My voice cracked again. "The blind date wasn't real?" He shook his head slowly. "I paid someone to cancel last minute. Then I sat there instead." I looked away. My chest ached. Everything ached. "So this was all planned?" I asked. "Yes." He didn't even flinch. Just stepped closer. Kneeling in front of me. Slowly, carefully. Like I was a creature made of fire. "I thought, if you saw me first," he whispered, "you wouldn't run." I stared at him, heart pounding. "And if I had?" I asked. "I would have followed." Silence. Then, softly I whispered, "You're insane." His eyes didn't leave mine. "I know." My voice was smaller now. You never stopped watching me? I couldn't. I wanted to scream, to cry, to disappear into the floor. But I just sat there, breathing him in. My bond throbbed under my skin. Weak, confused, but still connected. I hated it, and I needed it. You shouldn't have done this. I said, I know. But you did anyway. He reached forward, not touching me, just hovering, his fingers shaking. I needed you to come back. I pressed my palm to the mark on my neck. My voice trembled. You made sure I had no choice. He closed his eyes. I was afraid you'd never come if I didn't. I looked down at the chip again, cold against my skin. A part of me wanted to throw it. The other part understood. That was the worst part. I should be angry, I whispered. You are. I should leave. He didn't answer. I waited. Then I said, softer, broken, so stop me. He opened his eyes. I already have. That made something in me collapse. I stood up, slowly, took a breath, then walked toward him. He didn't move, just watched. I placed the chip on the table beside the bed, then turned back, pressing my fingers to the bite mark on my neck. I feel it, I whispered. His breath hitched. The bond? I nodded. Even now, still pulsing, he stepped closer, carefully, like I'd vanish if he moved too fast. My voice was smaller now, fragile. Then don't ever leave again. His arms wrapped around me before I could fall apart. He buried his face into my shoulder, holding me like he was scared to lose me even in sleep. I won't, he breathed. Never again. We didn't speak after that. We just stood there, tangled in scent, in heat, in everything unsaid. And when we finally laid down, curled under his scent, under his breath, under everything that bound us together, I knew I was finally home.